That jar of honey sitting in your kitchen might not be what you think. Some honey bottles have confusing labels. Some have lost the tiny clues that reveal where they came from. And some brands have faced questions about whether the story on the front matches what is inside. Here's every fake US honey brand explained in 8 minutes. Great Value Honey. This is Walmart's budget honey brand. The bottle millions of people grab because it's cheap, familiar, and sitting right where they expect it to be. For many families, it feels like the practical choice. No fancy packaging, no expensive price tag, just honey doing honey things. But the words on the front of the bottle created questions. A lawsuit examined whether Great Value's raw and organic claims matched what shoppers imagined they were buying. In America, there is no strict federal definition for the word raw honey. So a bottle can create the image of a beekeeper opening a hive on a sunny farm, while the actual process may involve heating and filtering before it reaches your kitchen. Apparently, even honey needs a background check. Sous Bee Honey. This brand has been sitting in American kitchens for over a century. With its bee logo and its connection to American beekeepers, Sous Bee built an image around tradition, farms, and trusted honey making. But modern honey production is not always as simple as bees, flowers, and a jar. When the global honey trade became more complicated, questions started appearing about where some commercial honey was actually coming from. Consumer complaints and investigations pointed to pollen removal, which makes it almost impossible to verify a honey's geographic origin. That matters because the industry has spent years battling problems like imported honey being routed through other countries and sold under different identities. Most people see pollen in honey as an annoying little speck that ruins the perfectly clear look, but scientists use it like a fingerprint. It can reveal where the honey came from and what plants the bees visited. The funny part is, pollen was basically the one ingredient in honey doing quality control. Then someone decided the jar looked better without it. Kirkland's Signature Honey. Costco built the Kirkland name around one simple idea: good products at better prices. Millions of members assume that if Costco puts its name on something, someone has already checked everything behind the scenes. That trust is exactly why its honey attracted attention. Lawsuits involving Kirkland's Signature Honey raised allegations about dilution with cheaper sweeteners and heavy filtration that removed natural markers like pollen. A local beekeeper can tell you exactly where a jar came from. They know the field, the flowers, and probably the bees responsible for the whole operation. But large-scale honey production is different. Buying a bigger bottle does not always mean getting more transparency. Sometimes it just means the mystery comes in a Costco-sized package. Nature Nate's Honey. They became popular with shoppers looking for something that felt closer to honey straight from the hive. The packaging, the wording, and the raw and unfiltered message were designed for people trying to avoid heavily processed foods. But in 2023, the brand was named in lawsuits, alleging that some of its honey had been diluted with cheaper sweeteners like corn syrup and rice syrup. The lawsuits also questioned whether the honey could truly be called raw if it had been heated and processed in ways that may have reduced its natural enzymes and compounds. The interesting part is how powerful two simple words can be. Raw and unfiltered does not just describe honey, it creates a picture of a beekeeper opening a hive and pouring it straight into a jar. The problem is, sometimes the picture on the label is doing more work than the honey itself. Members Mark Honey. Sold at Sam's Club, Members Mark Honey is built for people who love buying everything in bulk. Toilet paper, snacks, and apparently enough honey to survive a small family reunion. But warehouse honey has faced some of the biggest lawsuits in the industry. Researchers examining large retailer honeys found that many samples had little or no detectable pollen after extreme filtration. The clearest looking honey is not always the best honey. Real honey naturally changes color, texture, and even becomes cloudy over time. A jar that stays perfectly smooth forever might look impressive, but honey was never trying to become a skincare product. It was just supposed to sit on toast. Nice Honey, this Walgreens honey, became part of a larger investigation that looked at one unexpected place for honey fraud concerns: pharmacy shelves. People usually go to drugstores for medicine, vitamins, and cold remedies. not to question what is inside a bottle of honey sitting nearby. But when researchers tested honey samples from pharmacy brands, many had one thing missing: pollen. The irony is, a product sold next to medicine may have had its most natural ingredient removed: Trader Joe's Manuka honey. This is the honey that convinced people a spoonful of bee syrup could be a luxury item. It comes from New Zealand and often costs several times more than ordinary honey. A lawsuit challenged whether one of Trader Joe's products was really as pure as its label suggested. Laboratory testing found that much of the pollen came from plants other than manuka flowers. The company argued that bees don't read labels and naturally visit different flowers. Apparently, even bees struggle with brand exclusivity. Generic store brand honey. This is the anonymous bottle sitting on the bottom shelf. No beekeeper story, no family history, no detailed sourcing information, just a label that says pure honey. And that's what makes it perhaps the most mysterious jar of all. Big brands at least have reputations to protect. Generic brands often don't. They can appear, disappear, and change suppliers with very little public attention. When there is no story attached to the product, consumers are left with one simple question: who exactly made this honey? Kroger honey. Kroger is one of America's most familiar grocery chains, making its store brand honey feel like a normal household purchase. But a familiar name does not automatically reveal what is inside the jar. Kroger honey has faced criticism over filtration practices and questions about traceability. Most shoppers are not buying honey expecting to investigate it like a detective. They just want something sweet for tea or toast. The surprising part is the cheapest item in your cart might require the most investigation. Signature Select Honey. This Safeway and Albertsons brand uses words like raw and unfiltered, words that naturally attract shoppers searching for a more natural option. But those words can be confusing because American regulations do not provide one strict definition for exactly what raw honey must be. That means a label can create a strong impression without explaining the entire journey from hive to shelf. Sometimes the biggest thing missing from fake honey is not an ingredient, it's information. Publix honey. Publix is known for quality, especially across the southern United States, but its honey has also faced criticism over filtration practices. The concern was that removing pollen could make it difficult to verify whether specialty labels, such as specific floral varieties, truly matched what was inside. Real honey carries the story of its origin. The flowers, the bees, and the environment all leave behind clues. Remove those clues, and the jar becomes much harder to trust. Ending. The biggest problem with fake honey is not that it looks suspicious. The best fakes look exactly like the real thing. A golden bottle can tell you a story. The question is whether the bees were actually part of it. A real jar of honey is supposed to carry the story of bees, flowers, and a specific place. When those clues disappear, all that remains is a sweet golden liquid that looks like honey. And sometimes that is exactly the problem. Even honey, apparently, can get overprocessed.